So let me break this down. Listen, it's 2006, March. Steelers were champions. Whitney and Bobby were officially exes. Nelly was teaching the world what grills were. That was a cut. I love that song. Pretty good, pretty good. Needless to say, it was a chaotic time in the world. At this time, I'm 3 years in the league. I just played my third season with the Minnesota Vikings, and for a guy coming from the Vaterino, third-round draft pick, I thought to myself, this is a team that I'm going to play for the rest of my career. I'm all about loyalty. I'm all about family. I am a company guy. I signed a 4-year deal, but it was 3 years and then an option year. That option year is a restricted free agency year. So now I'm sitting at home, I'm talking to my agent, trying to figure out what's about to happen next. He's explaining everything to me because I don't understand the ins and outs of being a restricted free agent. He says, okay, Nate, this is what's going to happen. They have to put some type of tender on you. They can go first round. They can go third round. Either way, there'll be a dollar sign attached to it. Another team can come in and they can offer more, and then Minnesota can also match that. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what are they going to do? Agent calls me. They're doing a third round tender on you. I'm like, what does that mean? Oh, it's around $715,000. What? Yeah, $715,000. No, I'm like, good, let's take it. I'm ready to go. He said, no. I think you have a big market. You just came off a 1,000-yard season. You got hurt this past year, but you're still one of the top priority wide receivers in the league. I said to myself, okay, so what's next? He said, well, let's wait for a phone call. While this is all happening, Steve Hutchinson goes from the Seattle Seahawks to the Minnesota Vikings on a transition tag, which means Seattle could match it, but they don't. So this is what happens. Steve goes to the Vikings. Seattle comes back, and I think they're starting to understand the fact that they're not going to get Steve back, so they want to get one of their top players. At this point, we do not have Randy Moss. Dante Culpepper is coming off a very bad knee injury, so they're pulling the next best thing on the offensive side of the ball, which is a young Nate Burleson. So they call me. The opportunity of possibly going back home to the Seattle Seahawks, a place where I grew up, a team that I watched, I thought to myself, it doesn't get any better than this. So I decide to go out there and visit Seattle. They check me out. They say, yeah, we want you to sign here. They talk to me. They say, okay, we're going to give you a 4-year deal for $16 million. I'm like, okay, now you're blowing my mind. I cannot believe this. Let's do this. My agent says, here's the thing. Minnesota can offer and match this. I'm like, well, what does that mean? He said, you're going to go back to Minnesota. I want you to go into your house. I don't want you to pick up the phone. I don't want you to answer the door, because if you're set on signing with Seattle, I don't want you to make this ugly, because if you start going back and forth, then we can lose both of these guys and you'll end up with less money. I'm like, well, what do you want me to go on a witness protection program? He's like, yeah, I don't want you to pick up the phone, because now that they know that you're going to Seattle, they're going to try to do whatever they can to get you back and pay you less. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Now I get to Seattle. In Seattle, I'm sitting there. I'm with Tim Ruskell. I'm in the office. I'm signing this deal. He said, okay, so this is what's going to happen. We're going to make it so that Minnesota cannot match this offer. What does that mean exactly? We're going to put some stipulations in this restricted free agency deal, poison pill, which puts them in a position where they don't want to pay you. So we're going to write, if you play 5 games in Minnesota, you're going to have to get paid $49 million from the Minnesota Vikings, because $49 million was the number that Steve Hutchinson was paid by the Minnesota Vikings.
It's pretty spiteful.
Yeah. So I'm not saying this was 2 organizations trying to get back at each other, but I was caught in the middle of 2 organizations.
Poison pill?
Trying to get back at each other. And I'm sitting there, I'm signing this deal, and I'm excited. You know, 4-year deal, $16 million. I'm in Seattle, thinking this is a fresh start, new chapter. I'm all about it. And I'm looking at the numbers. I'm saying, wait a minute. Well, why doesn't it say $16 million? You say, oh, because of the poison pill, we got to put this in there. So basically, it's going to read 7 years, $49 million once you sign. I'm like, okay, so on the bottom line, on the screen, on NFL Network, on all these other networks, it's going to read Nate Burleson signs to Seattle for 7 years, $49 million? Yeah. Good luck explaining that to your family. I'm like, all right, well, I'll try my best. So I sign there. And then I collect all my stuff. Me and the wife, we head back to Seattle. We start looking for a place. And I get to this new team. I leave the Minnesota Vikings, where they had Randy Moss, Mike Tice. I mean, we were young. We were energetic. We played a little bit of X's and O's, a little bit of playground football. I mean, it was showtime out there. And I get to Seattle. It's Mike Holmgren, It's Matt Hasselbeck, it's Sean Alexander, it's Walter Jones, Lofa Tatupu, Marcus Trufant. I mean, these guys were a different type of organization. Holmgren, he ran a type ship. The type of transition it was for me was a lot difficult, or a little more difficult than it was from college to the NFL. Because college to the Minnesota Vikings, I still had the air of having fun. It still was a little bit more of go out, play ball, enjoy yourself, and celebrate. In Seattle, it was you're here to play football. No man is bigger than the team. You go out there, do your job, go home, come back, repeat. And one moment, which basically set everything in motion for my time in Seattle, was one day at practice. We're getting ready, we're doing our thing, and we're doing routes versus air. I catch the ball. I do what I do all the time. I have these imaginary defenders in my head because I try to simulate game movements. I'm shaking them up, I'm smiling, I'm saying, ooh, ah, and then I dive in the end zone. Coach Holmgren blows whistle, beep, brings it up. Like, what's going on? It's the middle of the practice. So, all right, listen, guys, listen. I know we got different guys from different places, but that's not how we do things around here. I'm not going to call any names, but we don't do the showboat, and we don't do the hot dog, and we don't do the clowning around. We don't do the silly stuff. When you come here and you play for the Seattle Seahawks, you do it my way, or you do it the highway. So get in shape, get on board, or get going. He doesn't say my name, but he's talking to me. So then I go talk to the receivers, and I say, well, what's going on, man? Dale Jackson, Bobby Ingram, they look at me and say, we're a little bit different out here. You know, we don't do all the showboating. We do the production on the field. I'm like, well, you can have fun. I'm not saying you can have fun, Nate. I'm just saying that it's different from where you came. It's an adjustment. Not every team is the same. And at 24 years old, I realized 32 teams, 32 organizations, it's all different. So, yeah, it's great to go get money. It's great to be a free agent. It's great to even change scenery and start a new chapter. But what I need every free agent to understand that along with the money, along with the change, comes a different opportunity set under a different group of circumstances that will put you in a situation where you're going to have to reevaluate who you are and how you handle things moving forward. So my advice to every young guy that wants to change scenes, that wants to change pace,